So next up, let's talk about one of the reasons why a lot of you might be watching this episode, and that is Star Wars High Republic. We're going to talk about The Light of the Jedi. Now, again, I have started this book. I have not finished it. So this will be a rough kind of discussion about it, just about maybe the first half of it. I won't be going into spoilers, so you do not have to worry about anything being ruined for you. I just want to talk about how this book has already begun to set up this universe and provided a new interpretation of the galaxy 200 years before the Phantom Menace. So this book is to set up this new High Republic era, which was announced months ago to be Project Luminous, that we now know as the High Republic. And we all know this because this was in the marketing for it, that this book is to introduce a new threat to destroy several worlds in the galaxy. And they call upon the Jedi to come help. Now, one of the main things I want to talk about in this book is one of the highlight characters, possibly one of my favorite, and that is Avar Kriss. Now, Avar Kriss actually has appeared in Star Wars before Light of the Jedi. She actually came up in the Rise of Kylo Ren comic book. I've never read that, so I can't give you my thoughts on it, but I did hear about her before. Now, this is a picture of her, an official picture of her from the Star Wars website, and I'm going to read you their official description of Avar so that I don't give away any spoilers. Avar is the brightest, most noble example of Jedihood. She always tries to see the good in people and situations and never puts herself first. She is invigorated about life on the frontier and the challenges it brings, and is an inspiration for those who work with her. She is compassionate, not dogmatic, and always ready to sacrifice herself over others. Avar Kriss is the best of the best. So that's a good definition of her, I think, and it definitely comes through in her character. The book is... I try not to give too much away, because as soon as I'm done, I will do a spoiler review, but I don't want to ruin anything for anyone who hasn't read it. But Avar is one of my favorites. She has a good history and relationship with other characters in the book and outside of the book, and we'll talk a little bit more about that here in a second. She is very powerful with the Force. She has a very high N count, as someone from The Mandalorian would say, Dr. Pershing. And one of the special things about her is this power that was introduced in the book, this new lightsaber ability that hasn't been seen before. It's caused some controversy. Some people don't like it. A lot of people do love it. Now I'm going to read you a passage from the book that describes what this new power is. And again, if you don't want to know, just tune out for about 30 seconds as I read this, or come back later after you've read the book so you don't have to get it ruined for you. So here's the passage from the book. It says, "The weapon began to rotate," talking about the lightsaber, "slowly, like a blade of a windmill. It made a sound as it moved through the air, a low, droning hum. Avar breathed in, out, and blade slowly sped up. The tone of its passage through the air changed, no longer a low drone but a higher pitch, a lovely round note. The lightsaber moved faster, its blade now too fast to see, a green circle of light with a shining metallic center. It was beautiful, but Avar closed her eyes. She did not need to see it. She needed to hear it. Her lightsaber was not just a weapon. Here, now, it was an instrument." Now, this passage, I actually really enjoyed. I really love this part, and it really defines who Avar is a lot better than some of the other passages because of this Force ability. And for those of you that don't know of me, I am a musician. I consider myself a musician before anything else, such as a Star Wars podcaster. But, this really explains that Avar views the Force like music. Hearing the song of life and death and then singing it in return, singing back to it in return. And I think this is a fresh new look on how a Jedi can relate to the Force and connect with the world around them. And another thing about this that is connecting the Force to music, which is really special about her, is that she has this rare skill where she can detect bonds between Force users. And she can either strengthen them, she could weaken them, but she can help other Force users come together to enhance their Force spiritual bond. And of course, this has to do with her viewing the Force as music and the song of the Force, and with the lightsaber, how it hums when it changes from, high to low levels from the ground, and it's just a weird new way to look at it and stuff like that. And here's another great thing about her. Now, this I'm going to show an excerpt from the lightsaber collection book that just recently came out. Now, this lightsaber I'm going to show you here actually belongs to Stellan Gios, who also is another character from High Republic. At one point, though, Avar does get to wield this, and this is a really, really cool lightsaber, and I think it partially has to do with the inspiration of Kylo Ren's lightsaber. So check this out. Here's a picture of it. Okay. Now, what's really cool about this lightsaber is you can see the top of it. That's actually a crossguard hilt. When you ignite the lightsaber, they go down to form a cross symbol. And then when you distinguish the blade, it closes back up to like that, closing off the entrance of it. That's what it looks like when it's lit up. Pretty cool, huh? So again, this blade actually belonged to Stellan Gios. I'll read you a little bit from this passage. It says, Gios' lightsaber is an elegant weapon with a crossguard and a longer hilt that allows him to easily wield it with two hands like a broadsword. The crossguard's quillions point forward when the saber is not in use, and the weapon rests in a holster that leaves the saber easily accessible. The hilt features striking black, gold, and silver details, and when the lightsaber ignites, the crossguard blades push the quillions outward, forming caps to the blades and creating a secondary guard. So again, here is that picture. And again, this is another lightsaber that was introduced in the High Republic. This book's great. If you want to check it out, it's the Lightsaber Collection book. It has details and pictures of every lightsaber there is known to come up in Star Wars, but it's pretty cool. So overall, The Light of the Jedi, it's a different type of book. It's different than, again, no spoilers here. It's different than other books we've had in the series. Now, I love the Star Wars books. The few that I've read, few considering how many hundreds there are. Some of my favorites have been the Thrawn books, the original Thrawn trilogy, Heir to the Empire, and also the newer ones as well. I love Timothy Zahn's writing. But the way it differs from those is that, I understand this is an exposition piece. It's just, its intent is to set up the High Republic and, introduce us to this new world in this galaxy that took place so long ago and what ultimately led up to the events of the prequel trilogy, I assume. But it's different. The tone is different. Thrawn's, with the Heir to the Empire books, are similar in the ways where they introduce a wide range of new characters. But they're different in the ways that, it's not connected to anything we know at this point. Yes, Yoda appears in the High Republic, but that's really all we have to grasp onto at this point, aside from, dogmatic views of the Jedi and all that kind of stuff as well. But it's just different. I don't know how to put it without, really giving anything away. Obviously, this book is more connected with the Jedi than anything we've seen before. It's called Light of the Jedi, and the High Republic is when the Jedi are at their prime, and it's when the Order is established to be what it is at its beginnings. And, overall, the whole thing with the characters, like I said, they introduce a lot of new characters, but they introduce a lot of new characters. It's a bit overwhelming at times. And for reasons I can't get into because it will spoil it for you, but there's a lot of great characters in this. There's a new Wookiee Jedi, which is really cool. But again, sometimes I feel like I'm a bit overwhelmed because of all the new characters we're getting introduced to. And I want to kind of grasp onto each one and learn more about them. But instead it moves on to other things as well. Another great addition to this, since we're talking about characters, is the Nahil, which is a group of pirates. They're a pretty cool addition to this as well. They've been in Star Wars before, but I love having their perspective and kind of seeing them in action too. I think their storyline's pretty great as well. But that's it for talking about Light of the Jedi today. Again, here are some pictures of Avar Kriss, who is my favorite character. She's fantastic, and I can't wait to see more from her in the future. Now, if you all are curious about this book and you want to get it yourself, but you don't have time to order a book online, wait for it to be shipped to you, etc. Well, you can also get it on an audio format as well, which is what I do, which brings us to our sponsor of today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Today's video is sponsored by Audible. Audible is an online audiobook and podcast service that allows users to purchase and stream audiobooks and other forms of spoken word content. And because you listen to my show, I'm going to give you a 30-day free trial to Audible. Just go to the link in the description below, www.audibletrial.com/HanTalksFirst. My resolution this year is to read more books. They make you smarter, but they can also bring you closer to the things you love, like Star Wars. Now, if you're like me and you try to get your hands on every single Star Wars book you can possibly find, then you probably have the same problem I do: shelf space. But it's not just about that. Audible is the leading creator and provider of premium audio storytelling, enriching the lives of millions of listeners every day. Audible has everything you need: audiobooks, Audible originals, podcasts, and more. Thousands of titles. And you can listen anywhere, anytime, on your phone, on your computer, in your car, and they're always launching new content. And it's less than $10 a month with the Audible Plus plan. But like I said, you can get 30 days for free with the link in the description below, www.audibletrial.com/HanTalksFirst. It's time to start listening, my friends. Link below. Enjoy.